Good morning. Welcome to the Blue Moon Motorcycle Show. It is a very cold December morning, the 18th, I believe. Today is yet another saga in the what should I do with my motorcycle today, being in the middle of winter or the beginning of winter. Technically, winter hasn't even started, not until the 21st. That really signifies the days are going to get longer. So I ain't mad at winter beginning, because the sooner it starts, the sooner it ends. And the sooner I can stop stressing and wondering and trying to figure out if I can, if I should, will I ride today? And I need to get into the office. I've been on vacation for a week. Was on vacation for a couple weeks prior to that. Unplanned vacation, going to visit family in hospital. My father took ill, and he's since recovered. He's doing well, but I had a week off to go reunite with family, to sit by his bedside and wish him well. And I came back for a week, and then I had already scheduled a week off for my birthday vacation. I do not work on my birthday. I work because I have to. I work because I need to. But my birthday is my day. The only day that I can claim as my own. So I take full advantage of that entire week if I have the time. And I did. So since Thanksgiving, I've had 2 weeks off, and it's felt really, really good. So not going to work, not having to go to work is actually pretty odd to me, trying to figure out what to fill my time with. I've spent some time not having a job, and I don't do well with not having some obligatory responsibility to put my time and my mind to. It's really, really hard for me. And it's taken me some time to realize that the thing that I fight against the most is the thing that I need the most to feel happy, healthy, and wise. My attachment to obligation and following orders is kind of a detrimental aspect of my life that I would really love to change. And as I am 50 years old now, I really don't need anybody telling me what to do. So it's informed a lot of what I want to do with my life going forward for the next 50 plus years. I plan to live past 100. But if I fall out, if I have dementia or what have you, chuck me in the waste bin. I'm not going to live in a hospital or an assisted living facility unless I'm capable of, still existing, writing, speaking, full use of my hands to create with. I know that, my body may be weak in a lot of ways, but being able to put forth some sort of effort towards creating something in life. I may be housebound, which would be perfectly fine with me living here in Colorado in my house with my land and all this, that, and the other. I'll make ways to get around. Maybe I'll move downstairs to the lower level as opposed to having the upstairs. Whatever, I'll adapt. But I don't want to be in a home. I don't want to be in a hospital. I don't want to be laid up in bed, tied to machines, unable to be on my own steam. And I want to ride my motorcycle until the day I die. It's, as most of you know, those that ride, it does something to your soul, to your psyche. It's healing in a lot of ways. It's teaching and telling in a lot of ways. And even when it's in the 30s, like it will be all week, and I suit up and get out, it still gives me some sort of feeling of correctness and repair. I just feel good when I ride. There's no better stress reliever going to and coming home from work on a motorcycle. By the time I get there, whatever irritations or what have you I was carrying with me are subdued. I'm not going to say they're gone, but they're definitely subdued. And when I pop off after work, there's no better way to blow out those cobwebs and reduce that stress before I come home and take it out on the loved ones here. I come home grinning, happy, just feeling great, totally forgetting any customer or what have you that's gotten on my nerves that day. In fact, it gets to the point of being a little frustrating because there's not enough road. I don't live far enough away that I can get a good, satisfying ride in on the way home. So I take the long way around. I go far out of my way just so that I can, feel the road under my wheels. It's really hard to describe what that feeling is. To me, it's kind of the feeling of control that you regain. You're riding a motorcycle, you're doing what people say you can't do. You're surviving when the fearful rhetoric out there is that you're fixing to die. It's, yeah, maybe that's it. It's the haha, I won, when everybody's telling you you're gonna lose. I don't know. I do know that you regain control of yourself when you're on your motorcycle. You have to. You have to regain control of yourself. There's no way to ride a motorcycle safely without dying, without grasping some control of you. That's why I tell people to ride your own ride. People are going to always want to ride with you. Hey man, let's go for a ride. Some people won't ride alone. I find a lot of benefit in riding alone. I do ride alone often. I'm watching one of my ride videos, and I noticed something. Somebody passed me when I was riding, and usually I stay ahead of the pack because I feel it's safer that way. Unless somebody's being unless somebody's being an asshole and they want the lead, have it. It's not my lead. You take it. You're driving. I'm riding. Get away from me. Is my rationale. So I'll slow down, make them pass me. But I wasn't doing that in this video. I was just riding, and all of a sudden I see this white SUV pass me. No worries. Let him have his road. I was wondering why he was passing me. Usually I'm going fast enough to stay ahead of the pack and keep them all in my rear view where I can control their movements. Yeah, it all comes back to that control. But my answer was given to me once I watched a few more seconds of the video and saw as we were going past the sun on my right side, I could see the shadows and my wife sitting on the back of the motorcycle. I didn't realize I had ever recorded a ride video with her on back. Usually any video that she's riding in, she's in the back recording. So it was interesting to see this angle with a shadow of her on the back of the motorcycle, which is also another nod to how much we do ride together. She has her own now, and we haven't really ridden together since for a while. It just hasn't worked out. There's no aversion or what have you. I've tried to get her out on the motorcycle, but she works from home as well, and she's busy. So there's a lot of busyness in the head, which is another nod to the stress-relieving ability of riding a motorcycle. I got to get out of my head. And when you ride, you have to get out of your head, because if you stay in your head, you'll die. You'll hit something, target fixation, whatever. So you got to get out of your head to get on your motorcycle. And it's therapy. It really is. It's sitting down with your therapist and doing that deep dive into your demons and figuring out what makes you tick and what makes you happy. Your motorcycle, your horse, when you get out on things like that, you learn something about yourself taught by that quiet ride. Your motorcycle doesn't talk back. I mean, it talks. Motherfucker talks loud. But you know what I mean. It doesn't say a word. Horses don't say words, but through their actions, through you mentally tapping into what's going on under your saddle, you learn some things. So, my original conundrum that I entered into this conversation with: what do I do with my motorcycle in the middle of winter? It's really not. It's not a bad ride, don't get me wrong. I live in Colorado. The sun shines here, let's say 300 out of 365 days of the year. We have a lot of sun. We have a lot of blue sky. If you watch any of my ride videos, you just see big, bright blue sky, no skyscrapers, no buildings. It's just all blue sky, even when there's snow on the ground. So there's generally good riding days. There will be months where I don't or can't ride, because once winter sets in, and it really sets in for us, I'd say mid-January through April. March is still pretty winterous here for us. I will definitely see snow in March often. So winter really sets in for us. Once springtime sets in for everyone else, we live in that kind of area where I can pontificate and lament about winter and try to figure out what to do. But soon enough, I won't be able to do anything motorcycle-wise on the road. Because once it starts to snow out here, and it stays cold enough where that snow's not melting, yeah, I'm going to be deadlocked in with snow, to the point that I can't get out of my drive with my motorcycle. And yes, I can. Something recent has come up. I try to join Facebook forums and things like that so that I can stay in communication with other riders, pick up what they're putting down, see how they're feeling about things. And, if I have questions or need advice, I know where I can go to ask those. So I got into the forums because my first Harley was a shovel head, and without the forum, without being able to ask people, how do you do thus and such, because there weren't a lot of YouTube videos and things like that, or at least I didn't know about it. So it was the Harley Davidson Shovelhead forum, the Facebook groups where people are buying and selling parts. I've bought so many parts off of Facebook to keep my shovel head on the road. So there's a wealth of knowledge out there, or at least there used to be, with these motorcycles that require a maintenance manual, certain set of tools, and some knowledge. That knowledge base is out there with everyone else on the road. But as Harleys continued to change, when you got away from the shovel head and into the Evo and the Dyna and all of that, the Shade Tree Mechanic started to fade away. It's really hard to get that same sort of maintenance knowledge and that forum of knowledge because people don't work on their motorcycles the way they used to. They're not able to work on their motorcycles the way we used to. You know, people aren't rocking shovel heads, pan heads, knuckleheads, with points and, doing all of the basic maintenance. Um, I didn't get a new motorcycle, but I got a newer motorcycle. So I went from an 82 to a 2001. That's my Kawasaki. And then I got a 2012 Street Glide. So my reintroduction into Harleys is a newer motorcycle. And boy howdy, it performs. But the maintenance aspect is easy on one hand and very difficult on the other. And getting out there and asking those questions and getting that advice, man, there's so much snark out there. So many people with just negative attitudes, talking to other riders, talking some bullshit to some other riders and saying stuff that would get you cut, get you smacked in the face in a heartbeat. And these keyboard warriors feel totally entitled to just say what they want to say to these writers asking valid questions. When your valid question is met with negativity and opposition, that's where people start getting hurt. Hopefully it's just their feelings, but generally, somebody's going to be waiting on you with a tire iron to teach you the right way to speak. So I see a lot of that bullshit happening in the current forums, and I actually dipped out of one of the forums just the other day because I couldn't. It was a new motorcycle riders forum on Facebook, and the amount of snark that these riders were giving new motorcycle riders was enough to just have me step out because I don't suffer bullies well. I am that guy. You see those movie clips where, the kid's getting bullied and that one kid's like looking like, nah, this ain't happening. Goes and stands up for the little guy. Yeah, that's me all day. Bring it. But so I had to step out of the forum because I was about to start saying stuff to people that I don't need to enter into those arguments anymore. It's tired and old. So, back to my original conundrum. What am I going to do? I've got so much maintenance that needs to be done on this 2012. I mean, third gear isn't meshing well. It could be the dogs. The shift fork is fine because it shifts all the way through, but third gear isn't engaging. So I got to get into that. It seems like, I don't know, this motorcycle just needs a lot of love. I believe my neck bearings need maintenance now. For whatever reason, my handlebars were loose. It's a street glide, so it has a fairing, which adds levels of difficulty to maintaining the motorcycle, doing the normal things that you do when you first get your motorcycle and setting it up for yourself. I mean, a new seat, that's no big deal. In fact, the seat's not bad. I'll probably keep the stock seat because seats are expensive. But and I want to spend money on other stuff, other maintenance parts. But that front fairing creates a lot of difficulty in what you're going to do because you have to remove so many parts just to get to the integral parts that you need. So my neck bearings, that's my current cause of alarm. And if it is indeed my neck bearings, that's a total fairing removal in order to get to top tree, the neck bearing, the triple tree, everything. So removing that fairing, yeah, I don't want to get into that. And just for clarity, I'm at least 3 to 4 hours away from the nearest Harley shop. There is a dude about an hour away that does maintenance on Harleys, but he's not taking any new jobs until March. Once again, our winter is long. Starting, mid-November, I'd say, all the way through the middle to almost the end of April sometimes. We went out on a group ride April 16th last year, and it was cold. It was cold. Everybody was showing up, kickstands up at 10, and there was a lot of leather, a lot of balaclavas, gloves, winter gloves, heated, this, that, and the other. I mean, we did a 4-hour round trip going around the Sangre de Cristo mountain range. So, we went south, north, west, and south again. So we went through a few different terrains, and I'm telling you, it was cold in a lot of spots. Going through the passes. These passes weren't super high. They weren't like 10 to 12,000 feet. We were probably closer to 8 or 9,000. They were the lower passes, the easier ones, the ones that don't usually close due to weather or what have you. But still, at 8,000 to 9,000 feet, you can sense a chill that you wouldn't see, when you're down lower. And when you're in those mountain crevices, whew, it's cold. It can be cold, I should say. So there was some fingertip issues or what have you. But if you have good gear, and finally after a lot of, new this, that, or the other, trying different combinations, I have proper gear, and I'm kind of proud of my proper gear. Good boots, good socks, good, long johns, I even have a pair of insulated jeans, and that's just the lower half, good, thermal undershirt, flannel shirt, long sleeve shirt, and a good leather jacket and good gloves. That you just need to hold your body heat in, and have ways of venting excess body heat so you're not sweating and overheated, and I finally have a good full face helmet. Because this cold is no joke, and you really don't want to let the cold seep in and sap your strength, because you need it for the return journey. If you want to go out 1 hour, you need to make sure that you're just as comfortable returning that second hour. There's so many. I live in the country. Watch my ride videos. You'll see where I live. It's like going on a road trip every time I go out. You got to make sure you got gas, you got water, you've got what you need. I mean, I'm not talking about because you might break down and be stuck on the side of the road. I'm talking about because there's nobody out here. There are miles where you may not see another car. There's one gas station in my town. The next gas is at least 45 minutes away. So that's a good ride. That's one of my long rides around the neighborhood, is driving to the other gas station and back. That's an hour and a half, and that's a good little jaunt. To stay local. That's one of my Saturday morning rides. I'm going around the block. That's my long block. Go to the other town, come back. There's like 3 different ways I can go to that other town. So, and I'm actually watching a video of one of those routes right now. But yeah, you really do need to prep up. Have the proper gear so that your body temp stays, in regulation while you're riding. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Have the proper gear, have the right amount of gas, have the right amount of gas on backup. Yeah, I carry a spare gas can. It's a 2-gallon can, which is, just under half a tank. That's what you need to get yourself saved. If you don't have that little bit of gas reprieve, you could be out there. Or you could just be having a stressful ride, chasing down a gas station, and not enjoying yourself, watching that needle tick, tick, tick. Don't get too hard on the throttle and burn the gas. Use it wisely and keep it pushing. So, yeah, there's a lot of mental preparation in this riding thing. But once you get all those things locked down, tools in your saddlebag, proper gear, a heavier jacket or a lighter jacket if needs be, just keeping all your stuff stocked up in your bags. I'm a bagger rider. I like baggers because you can carry all the stuff you need, and you can have a sound system if you want. And I want to talk to more riders that just enjoy the silence, because I can't get down like that. I need to have something. Although I did get new pipes put on my bike over, while I was off work, and they're kind of beautiful to listen to. They really are. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. My conundrum still stands. What am I supposed to be doing with these motorcycles? I have, I love motorcycles, so yeah, I've got more than one. And they need maintenance. But it's cold out there, and I don't want to. And if I am going to go out there and bear with the cold, I want to be, twisting the throttle and feeling the road. So I'm trying to figure out, and maybe y'all can help me. What am I supposed to be doing? How do I inspire myself to do motorcycle things that aren't including riding my motorcycle? I need to get this maintenance done. My next episode, I'll talk to you more about what needs to be done on my motorcycles, not just my Street Glide with the few issues that I mentioned, but, I'll go into detail. We'll talk more motorcycle stuff, but how do you stay inspired when winter sets in and you have to put your motorcycle up? Or how do you stay inspired to do the maintenance when you don't have to put your motorcycle up? Like I said, it's in the 30s and I still plan on riding. So when you don't have snow keeping you locked in the house, when you don't put your motorcycle up or have to, or even when you do need to, how do you stay inspired to do the work that needs doing? The oil changes, the parts replacements, the getting that loose wire that's been hanging out of that side cover. How do you keep yourself inspired to do the stuff that you would much rather pay somebody else to do? That's what I want to know, because I'm struggling, but I'm still riding. So, whatever you're doing, enjoy your ride, and I'll talk to you on the flip side.